Have you ever felt like you're standing in a room full of people, yet you're completely alone? Like you're giving your all to someone who's not really there? Today, let's talk about the signs of disrespect you might be ignoring. The signs that whisper, or sometimes scream, he's not with you. Sign 1. The silence. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That deafening, suffocating silence when you're pouring your heart out. Your words spilling like an open vein, and all you get in return is a blank stare or a monotone aha. It's not just silence. It's indifference. And let me tell you something. Indifference isn't passive. Indifference is a choice. It's the quiet way of saying, I'm not really listening. You don't matter enough for me to be fully present. Think about it. If someone truly cared about you, wouldn't they hang on to every syllable you say? Wouldn't they lean in closer, hungry to understand how you feel, desperate to catch even the faintest flicker of emotion behind your words? Real connection doesn't happen in silence. Silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the absence of care. It's the void where empathy should live. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a cliff, shouting into the wind, hoping someone will hear you. But instead of hearing their voice echo back, there's nothing. Just the hollow rush of emptiness swallowing your cries whole. How long would you keep shouting before you realized no one was ever going to answer? Here's the truth. You deserve more than that. You deserve someone who listens with their whole being. Not because they have to, but because they want to. Someone whose eyes light up when you speak, whose body language says, tell me more. Someone who makes you feel seen, heard, valued. So ask yourself, are you settling for silence? For indifference disguised as patience? Because if you are, it's time to demand better. Demand presence. Demand passion. Demand respect. Because your voice matters, and anyone who can't recognize that doesn't deserve the privilege of hearing it. But wait. Let's go deeper. Let's talk about why silence hurts so much. It's not just that it feels dismissive. It cuts straight to the core of our humanity. Human beings are wired for connection. From the moment we're born, we cry out into the world, searching for someone to respond, to hold us, feed us, comfort us. Connection is survival. When someone chooses silence over engagement, they're rejecting that fundamental need. They're telling you, whether consciously or not, that your needs don't matter. And that stings. Oh, does it sting? Now, here's the kicker. Sometimes, silence isn't malicious. Sometimes, people are distracted, overwhelmed, or simply bad communicators. Maybe they're carrying their own burdens and don't realize how their silence affects you. But here's the thing. You shouldn't have to settle for crumbs of attention while someone else sorts through their baggage. Your feelings are valid, regardless of their intentions. If someone loves you, they'll find a way to show up. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect. Love shows up. Love tries. And yet, sometimes silence speaks louder than any apology ever could. Have you ever noticed that? The person who claims to care but never seems to act on it. Their silence becomes its own kind of betrayal. Words are cheap. Actions, or lack thereof, reveal the truth. So pay attention to the patterns. Is this person consistently absent when you need them most? Do they only show up when it's convenient for them? If so, then maybe it's time to stop making excuses for them. Stop rationalizing their behavior. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into the tiny space they've allotted for you. Because here's the deal. You are worthy of someone who meets you halfway. Who fights for you. Who values your thoughts, your dreams, your pain. Someone who understands that communication isn't just about talking. It's about listening. Really listening. Not nodding along while scrolling through their phone. Not giving vague responses while mentally checking out. No, real listening requires effort. It requires vulnerability. It requires showing up again and again, even when it's hard. And guess what? You owe that same level of effort to yourself. Don't tolerate relationships, romantic, platonic, familial, that leave you feeling invisible. Don't waste your energy trying to convince someone to care. Instead, surround yourself with people who already do. People who make you laugh until your stomach hurts. People who remember the little things you said weeks ago. People who celebrate your victories and sit with you in your darkest moments. Those are the people worth keeping. Finally, let's end with this thought. Silence can be powerful, but only when used intentionally. There's a difference between choosing silence as a form of self-care, like stepping away from a toxic argument, and using silence as a weapon, like ignoring someone to punish them. One empowers, the other destroys. Be mindful of how you wield it, and demand the same mindfulness from others. So, the next time you find yourself facing that wall of silence, the kind that leaves you questioning your worth, remind yourself of this. Your voice has power. Your emotions have weight. And you deserve to be met with the same intensity that you bring to the table. Anything less? That's not love. That's not respect. That's not enough. Repeat after me. I am not too much. My feelings are not too much. And I refuse to settle for anything less than extraordinary. Sign 2. The Broken Promises. Asterisk, he says he'll call, but he doesn't. He promises to show up, but he's a no-show. Every broken promise is a small crack in the foundation of your relationship. And over time, those cracks can bring the whole thing crashing down. Promises are meant to be kept, not used as empty words to keep you hanging on. Asterisk. Asterisk, let me paint you a picture. Imagine building a house. You start with a strong foundation, layer by layer, brick by brick. But what happens if each brick isn't solid? What if some of them are hollow, crumbling even before they're laid? That's what broken promises do to trust. They weaken the structure until one day, without warning, it collapses under its own weight. And suddenly, you're left standing in the rubble, wondering how everything fell apart so quickly. Asterisk. Asterisk, now think back to the first time he broke a promise. Maybe it was something seemingly insignificant. I'll text you later, or we'll do something special this weekend. When he didn't follow through, you probably brushed it off. He's busy, you told yourself. He's just forgetful. After all, nobody's perfect, right? But deep down, you felt that little sting, didn't you? That tiny voice whispering, if he cared, he'd remember. Asterisk. Asterisk, here's the brutal truth. Broken promises aren't just about forgetting, they're about priorities. Think about it. We live in a world where reminders ping our phones constantly. Calendars sync across devices. Alarms buzz relentlessly. If someone truly wants to keep their word, they will. It's not rocket science. So when someone repeatedly breaks their promises to you, what they're really saying is this. You're not at the top of their list. Not even close. Asterisk. Asterisk, and here's the kicker. It's not always about malice. Sometimes, people make promises they never intend to keep because it's easier than having an honest conversation. Sure, we'll hang out soon. Sounds better than actually, I don't want to put in the effort. Or worse, sometimes they mean it in the moment, but then life gets in the way, and you realize you weren't important enough to fight for. Either way, the result is the same. Disappointment. Disrespect. Distance. Asterisk. Asterisk, but let's talk about you for a second. Why do you keep letting it happen? Why do you keep making excuses for someone who keeps letting you down? Is it fear? Hope? Habit? Whatever it is, it's time to take a hard look in the mirror and ask yourself, how many more times am I willing to lower my standards? How many more chances am I willing to give before I walk away? Asterisk. Asterisk, every broken promise is like a thread being pulled from a sweater. At first, it seems harmless. One loose strand won't ruin the whole thing, right? But pull too many threads, and eventually, the entire garment unravels. That's what happens when you stay tethered to someone who can't, or won't, keep their word. Piece by piece, your sense of self-worth starts to unravel until you barely recognize yourself anymore. Asterisk. Asterisk, so here's the question you need to ask yourself. Am I staying because I believe in us, or because I'm afraid of being alone? Because if it's the latter, let me tell you something. Loneliness is temporary. Regret lasts forever. Don't waste years waiting for someone to finally step up when you could be spending that time with someone who already has. Asterisk. Asterisk now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying everyone deserves zero grace. People mess up. Life gets complicated. But there's a difference between genuine mistakes and a pattern of neglect. One missed call followed by a heartfelt apology? That's human. A string of broken promises with no accountability? That's a red flag waving right in front of your face. And trust me, you don't want to ignore it. Asterisk. Asterisk, here's the bottom line. Actions speak louder than words. Always. Someone who truly values you will prove it. Not just with grand gestures, but with consistency. With reliability. With showing up again and again, even when it's inconvenient. Because love isn't just about saying the right things. It's about doing them. It's about choosing you every single day. Even when it's hard. Asterisk. Asterisk, so, the next time someone makes you a promise, pay attention. Not to what they say, but to what they do. Do they follow through? Do they prioritize you? Or are they content to leave you dangling, hoping against hope that someday, somehow, they'll change? Spoiler alert, they probably won't. And you deserve better than someone who treats your heart like a placeholder instead of a priority. Asterisk. Asterisk, repeat after me. Asterisk. Asterisk, I am not a backup plan. My time is valuable. My feelings matter. And I refuse to settle for anything less than someone who proves, every single day, that I'm worth it. Asterisk. Asterisk, because here's the ultimate truth. Broken promises aren't just a reflection of them, they're a reflection of you. Of what you're willing to accept. Of what you believe you deserve. And if you've been tolerating crumbs, it's time to demand the feast you were born for. Asterisk. Sign 3. The excuses. Asterisk, I'm busy, I'm tired, I forgot. Sound familiar? These aren't just words. They're walls. Walls that keep you out, that shield you from seeing the truth. Because when someone truly cares about you, they don't use excuses as a way to distance themselves. They make time. They show up. They remember. Excuses are just a way of saying, you're not a priority. And let's be brutally honest. You deserve to be someone's priority, not their afterthought. Asterisk. Asterisk, let me break it down for you. Think about the last time you heard one of those lines. Maybe it was an excuse for why he couldn't call you back. Or why he missed your birthday dinner. Or why he didn't follow through on something he swore he'd do. At first you might have believed him. You might have nodded along and said, "Oh, okay, I get it." But deep down, didn't it feel off? Didn't it leave a sour taste in your mouth? Like you were being brushed aside? Asterisk. Asterisk, here's the deal. Life gets busy. Everyone has responsibilities. Everyone gets tired. But here's the thing. When someone genuinely values you, they find a way. They carve out moments, no matter how small, to remind you that you matter. Love isn't about convenience. It's about commitment. It's about choosing you even when life feels chaotic. If he can't, or won't, do that, then what does that really say about where you stand? Asterisk. Asterisk, but here's the kicker. Excuses are sneaky. Oh, so sneaky. They don't just come from the other person. They seep into your mind too. They make you second-guess yourself. Am I asking for too much? You wonder. Is it unreasonable to want his time, his attention, his effort? Let me answer that for you. No. Absolutely not. Wanting someone to prioritize you isn't selfish. It's human. It's basic. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice. And if he's choosing everything else over you, his job, his friends, his hobbies, his Netflix binge, then what does that say about how he really feels? Asterisk. Asterisk, picture yourself standing in line at a coffee shop. There's a long queue ahead of you, But eventually, you reach the front. Except instead of taking your order, the barista says, "Sorry, I'm too busy right now. Come back later." Frustrating, right? Now imagine that happening every single time you try to connect with him. Every text goes unanswered. Every plan gets postponed. Every attempt to spend time together ends with some variation of, "I'll get to you later." How long would you stay in that line before walking away? Asterisk. Asterisk. And yet, here's the heartbreaking part. Sometimes, we convince ourselves to stay in that line forever. We tell ourselves stories to justify his behavior. He works hard, we say. He's under a lot of stress. Sure, maybe that's true. But here's the reality. Stress doesn't erase love. Hard work doesn't cancel priorities. If anything, tough times should bring people closer, not push them further apart. If he's using excuses as a shield, then maybe it's time to stop waiting for him to lower it. Asterisk. Asterisk. Let's talk about patterns for a second. One excuse? Okay, fine. People have bad days. Things slip through the cracks. But multiple excuses? A constant stream of reasons why he can't show up for you? That's not coincidence. That's a pattern. And patterns reveal priorities. So ask yourself, what does his pattern say about yours? Are you settling for scraps while he feasts elsewhere? Are you convincing yourself that crumbs are enough because you're afraid of leaving the table empty-handed? Asterisk. Asterisk. Here's the brutal truth. Asterisk. Asterisk. Excuses are a form of control. They manipulate your expectations. They make you feel guilty for wanting more. They gaslight you into thinking you're the problem. But listen to me carefully. You are not the problem. Wanting someone to value you is not unreasonable. Demanding respect is not selfish. Holding someone accountable for their actions is not cruel. In fact, it's necessary. Because love without accountability is just lip service. Asterisk. Asterisk. Now, let's flip the script for a moment. Imagine someone who makes you a priority. Someone who texts you just to check in. Someone who remembers the little things. The name of your favorite book, the date of your mom's surgery, the way you take your coffee. Someone who shows up, even when it's inconvenient. How would that feel? Would it feel different from the endless cycle of excuses you've been tolerating? Of course it would. Because real love doesn't require explanations. It requires action. Asterisk. Asterisk. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Am I staying because I believe he'll change, or because I'm afraid of losing him? Because if it's the latter, let me tell you something. Staying with someone who treats you like an option instead of a priority will cost you far more than walking away ever could. Your self-respect. Your peace of mind. Your happiness. Those are prices you can't afford to pay. Asterisk. Asterisk. Repeat after me. I am not a burden. My needs are valid. My worth is non-negotiable. And I refuse to settle for someone who treats my love like a checkbox instead of a commitment. Asterisk. Asterisk. Because here's the ultimate truth. Excuses are choices. And if someone keeps choosing excuses over you, then they've already made their decision. Don't waste your energy trying to change their mind. Instead, focus on finding someone who chooses you without hesitation. Someone who proves, through their actions, that you're worth the effort. Someone who reminds you, every single day, that you are irreplaceable. Asterisk. Asterisk. And until you find that person, promise me this. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Don't dim your light to fit into someone else's shadow. You deserve better. So much better. And once you start believing that, the rest will fall into place. Asterisk. Sign 4. The lack of effort. Asterisk. Relationships take work. They take effort. But when you're the only one putting in the work, when you're the only one trying to keep the spark alive, that's not a relationship. That's a one-sided love story. Love isn't just a feeling. It's an action. And if he's not acting on it, then what are you really holding on to? Asterisk. Asterisk. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to light a fire with wet wood? You strike match after match, blow gently to fan the flames, but nothing catches. No matter how hard you try, the fire refuses to ignite. That's what it feels like when you're the only one putting in the effort. Exhausting. Frustrating. Pointless. Except instead of lighting a fire, you're trying to kindle a connection. And it's clear that the other person isn't even bothering to bring their own matches. Asterisk. Asterisk, think about the little things. The texts that go unanswered, the dates that never happen, the conversations that feel like pulling teeth. Love should feel easy, not exhausting. It should feel like a partnership, not a solo mission. And yet here you are, carrying the weight of the entire relationship on your shoulders while he sits back and watches. Or worse, doesn't even notice. Asterisk. Asterisk, here's the thing about effort. It's not always grand gestures or dramatic declarations. Sometimes, it's the small, consistent actions that speak volumes. Sending a random "thinking of you" text. Planning a surprise date. Remembering the details of your day-to-day life. These aren't Herculean tasks, they're basic expressions of care. So why does it feel like you're the only one doing them? Why does it feel like you're pouring your heart into this relationship while he's content to coast along, letting you do all the heavy lifting? Asterisk. Asterisk, picture a seesaw. One side is weighed down by your endless efforts, the late night talks, the thoughtful gifts, the compromises. The other side? Barely budging. Empty. Unbalanced. That's what happens when only one person is invested. You tip the scales so far in his favor that eventually, you collapse under the strain. And for what? For someone who can't, or won't, meet you halfway. Asterisk. Asterisk, but here's the kicker. Effort isn't just about what you do, it's about how it makes you feel. When you're constantly chasing someone who won't chase you back, it leaves you drained, resentful, questioning your worth. Why am I the only one trying? You wonder, does he even care? Spoiler alert, if he cared, he'd show it. He wouldn't leave you guessing. He wouldn't make you fight for every scrap of affection like it's some kind of emotional tug of war. Asterisk. Asterisk, and let's talk about balance for a second. Healthy relationships thrive on reciprocity. Give and take. Push and pull. Both people contribute equally. Not perfectly, but intentionally. When one person dominates the effort, it creates imbalance. It breeds resentment. It turns love into labor. And trust me, you didn't sign up for a job title of emotional laborer. You signed up for a partner. Asterisk. Asterisk. Now, here's the brutal truth. Lack of effort isn't always obvious at first. At the beginning, everything might seem perfect. He's attentive, charming, eager to impress. But over time, the mask slips. The texts become fewer and farther between. The plans fizzle out before they even start. The energy shifts from excitement to obligation. Suddenly, you realize you've been running on a treadmill, working harder and harder, but going nowhere. Asterisk. Asterisk, so here's the question you need to ask yourself. Why am I still running? Am I hoping he'll suddenly wake up and start matching my pace? Am I afraid of slowing down and facing the truth? Because the truth is this. If he wanted to be with you, he'd be with you. Fully. Completely. Without hesitation. Not because you forced him to, but because he couldn't imagine being without you. Asterisk. Asterisk, repeat after me. I am not responsible for saving this relationship. My effort does not obligate him to reciprocate. And I refuse to pour my heart into someone who treats it like an afterthought. Asterisk. Asterisk, because here's the ultimate reality. Love is a two-way street. If you're the only one driving, then where exactly are you headed? To a destination that doesn't exist. To a future built on hope instead of action. To a life spent waiting for someone who may never arrive. And let me tell you something. You deserve better than that. So much better. Asterisk. Asterisk, imagine for a moment. what it would feel like to have a true partner. Someone who meets you halfway. Someone who initiates plans as often as you do. Someone who surprises you with kindness instead of excuses. How freeing would that feel? How empowering would it be to finally share the load? To know that you're not alone in this journey. Asterisk. So here's my challenge to you. Stop carrying the weight of this relationship by yourself. Stop making excuses for him. Stop convincing yourself that someday, somehow, he'll step up. If he cared enough to try, he'd already be doing it. Instead, focus on finding someone who values you enough to put in the effort. Someone who proves, through their actions, that you're worth fighting for. Asterisk. And until you find that person, promise me this. Don't settle. Don't compromise. Don't waste another ounce of your energy on someone who treats your love like a checkbox instead of a commitment. You are worthy of someone who chooses you. Not out of convenience, but out of devotion. Someone who reminds you, every single day, that love is supposed to feel like magic, not martyrdom. Asterisk. So, the next time you find yourself wondering why you're the only one trying, remember this. Effort is a choice. And if he's not choosing to give it, then maybe it's time for you to choose yourself. Asterisk. Sign 5. The disrespect in front of others. Asterisk, he interrupts you, talks over you, or worse, belittles you in front of friends or family. That's not just disrespect. That's a public declaration that he doesn't value you. It's a way of saying, your feelings don't matter to me, and I want everyone to know it. And that's not love. Asterisk. Imagine this. You're at a dinner party, surrounded by people whose opinions matter to you. Friends, family, co-workers. You're mid-sentence, sharing a story, laughing, feeling alive. And then, he cuts you off. Mid-word. Without hesitation. He laughs, maybe even mocks you, and says something like, that's not how it happened, or you're exaggerating again. Or worse, he rolls his eyes when you express an opinion, dismissing your thoughts as if they're irrelevant. How does that make you feel? Humiliated? Small? Invisible? Asterisk. Let's break it down for a second. When someone disrespects you in front of others, it's not just about the moment. It's about what it represents. It's a power play. A way of asserting dominance. Of showing the room, and you, that he doesn't see you as an equal. That he doesn't value your voice, your perspective, your presence. And here's the thing. If he can't respect you in front of others, how much does he really respect you when you're alone? Does he listen to you then? Does he honor your boundaries? Or is the disrespect simply quieter, more subtle, easier to ignore? Asterisk. Here's the brutal truth. Public disrespect is toxic. It's humiliating. It's dehumanizing. Because let's be real, when someone undermines you in front of others, they're not just attacking you. They're attacking your dignity. Your worth. Your right to exist as a fully realized human being. And no one, absolutely no one, should have to endure that. Asterisk. Picture yourself standing on a stage, spotlight shining down on you. You're speaking, sharing your truth, pouring your heart out. But instead of applause, all you hear is laughter, mockery, criticism. Now imagine that stage isn't metaphorical. It's real. Every time he interrupts you, belittles you, or dismisses you in front of others, he's putting you on that stage and turning the audience against you. He's making you perform without giving you a script. And worst of all, he's sitting in the front row, smirking, while everyone else watches uncomfortably. Asterisk. But here's the kicker. Public disrespect isn't just harmful to you, it's harmful to everyone around you too. Think about it. What message does it send to your friends? To your family? To anyone witnessing the interaction? It tells them that it's okay to treat you poorly. That your feelings don't matter. That your voice doesn't deserve to be heard. And slowly but surely, it chips away at your relationships. Not just with him, but with everyone else who sees how little he values you. Asterisk. Asterisk now, let's talk about patterns. One instance of disrespect might be chalked up to a bad day. Maybe he didn't mean to cut you off. Maybe he thought he was joking. But multiple instances? A consistent habit of talking over you, mocking you, or embarrassing you in public. That's not coincidence, that's a pattern. And patterns reveal priorities. So ask yourself, what does his pattern say about yours? Are you staying because you believe he'll change, or because you've started to internalize his disrespect as normal? Asterisk. Asterisk, here's the heartbreaking part. Over time, public disrespect starts to seep into your private life too. It becomes harder to speak up, to share your thoughts, to assert yourself, even when it's just the two of you. You start second-guessing everything you say, wondering if it'll be met with eye rolls or sarcasm. You shrink yourself to avoid conflict, to keep the peace. But here's the truth. Peace built on silence isn't peace, it's surrender. Asterisk. Asterisk, so here's the question you need to ask yourself. Why am I tolerating this? Am I afraid of confrontation? Afraid of losing him? Or am I so used to being disrespected that I don't even recognize it anymore? Because here's the reality. Love doesn't humiliate. Love doesn't degrade. Love lifts you up, amplifies your voice, celebrates your individuality. If he can't do that, if he actively works against it, then what are you really holding on to? Asterisk. Asterisk, repeat after me. I am not invisible. My voice matters. My feelings are valid. And I refuse to settle for someone who treats me like a punchline instead of a partner. Asterisk. Asterisk, because here's the ultimate truth. Respect is non-negotiable. It's the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, everything else crumbles. If he can't, or won't, respect you in front of others, then he doesn't respect you at all. Period. End of story. And trust me, you deserve someone who sees you, hears you, honors you. Not just behind closed doors, but everywhere else too. Asterisk. Asterisk now, let's flip the script for a moment. Imagine someone who champions you. Someone who listens intently when you speak. Who nods along and encourages you to finish your thoughts. Someone who defends you when others doubt you. Who amplifies your voice instead of silencing it. How would that feel? Would it feel different from the constant interruptions, the eye rolls, the mockery? Of course it would. Because real love doesn't diminish you. It elevates you. Asterisk. Asterisk, so here's my challenge to you. Stop excusing his behavior. Stop convincing yourself that it's not that bad or that he doesn't mean it. Belittling is belittling, whether it's done in jest or malice. Disrespect is disrespect, whether it happens in public or private. And you deserve better than both. Asterisk. Asterisk, and until you find someone who truly respects you, promise me this. Don't shrink yourself to fit into someone else's narrow view of who you should be. Don't dim your light to avoid casting a shadow over his ego. Don't tolerate humiliation in exchange for hollow promises of love. You are worthy of someone who celebrates your brilliance, not someone who dims it. Asterisk. Asterisk, because here's the bottom line. Love should never leave you feeling small. It should never leave you questioning your worth. It should never leave you dreading social gatherings for fear of being embarrassed. Love should make you feel safe, seen, valued, cherished. Anything less than that? That's not love. That's survival. And you deserve so much more than mere survival. Asterisk. Asterisk, so the next time he interrupts you, belittles you, or dismisses you in front of others, remember this. Respect is a choice. And if he's not choosing to give it, then maybe it's time for you to choose yourself. Asterisk. So why do we ignore these signs? Maybe it's because we're holding on to the hope that things will change. Maybe it's because we're afraid of being alone. But here's the truth. You deserve someone who respects you, who values you, who's with you. Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Love isn't supposed to hurt. It's not supposed to make you feel small, or unimportant, or invisible. It's supposed to lift you up, to make you feel seen, heard, and valued. And if that's not what you're getting, then it's not love. It's settling. Don't ignore the signs. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Because when you're with someone who truly respects you, you'll never have to question where you stand. You'll know. And that's the kind of love you deserve. It's not about perfection. It's about effort. It's about someone who shows up for you, even on the hard days. Someone who listens, who cares, who chooses you, every single day. That's what love looks like. And if that's not what you're getting, then it's time to ask yourself why you're staying. So, take a step back. Look at the signs. And ask yourself, is he really with you? Or are you just holding on to the idea of what could be, instead of facing what is? Because here's the thing. You can't change someone who doesn't want to change. You can't make someone love you if they're not willing to put in the effort. And you shouldn't have to. You deserve someone who loves you the way you love them. Fully, completely, and without hesitation. Remember, you deserve respect. You deserve love. And sometimes, the first step to getting it is recognizing when it's not there. Don't be afraid to walk away from what's hurting you. Because the moment you do, you make room for something better. Something real. Something worth waiting for.